everyone. We're going to bring our regular scheduled meeting of the York County School Board to order. It is May the 18th, and once again, good evening. Before we get started, Dr. George is not with us this evening. He is at Tabb High School attending his senior daughter's awards banquet, so he is celebrating her accomplishments this evening along with a lot of other students, so we'll miss him this evening. We're going to start with our pledge leader, and that is Essie Blanchard. If you can come up, please. She is from Mount Vernon Elementary School. Mount Vernon Elementary is proud to have Essie lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Essie joined our school 3 years ago and has been brightening the lives of students and staff since she arrived. She greets us with a smile and a hug every morning at the front door and continues to share her positive attitude throughout the day. Essie is a classic optimist. She is constantly finding the good in life and in people with whom she works and plays. She never has a cross word to say about anything. Her family and teachers agree that Essie has a heart of gold, and she is full of gratitude for the blessings that she has in her life. Both at school and at home, Essie is constantly offering her assistance and looking for ways to be a helping hand. Essie is a role model for her school and community. She is an active member of her church community at Bethel Baptist and enjoys assisting with various activities at her church. On Wednesday nights, she participates in a program called Feed My Sheep, which supplies food to families in need. In her spare time, she enjoys playing basketball and creating sketches of fashion design. Essie will be joining Tabb Middle School in the fall, and there will be no doubt that she'll take all of her wonderful traits with her to continue serving the community throughout the middle school. Let's all stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Very good job. We're now going to move into our recognitions and awards this evening, and we have several. We're going to start with our seniors of the month, and we're going to start with Bruton High School, and I believe Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. I have the honor of introducing to you the senior of the month from Bruton High School, which is Kayla Copeman. Will Kayla please stand with Dad Jeffrey Copeman and Mother Barbara Copeman? Okay, let me share some information with you about Kayla. Kayla is an active member of the National Honor Society, Panther SCA, where she serves as Vice President, and the Chemistry Honor Society, where she serves as President. She also serves as the 2015 Senior Class Vice President. Kayla is a student in the York County School Division School of the Arts Literary Arts Program. She also demonstrates leadership and dedication as an athlete on the BHS varsity field hockey team and has played all 4 years of high school, serving as captain this year. In addition to being a full-time student, Kayla works part-time as a lifeguard in the community and as a hostess at Carrabba's restaurant. We should all flood the Carrabba's in Williamsburg. She finds time to give back to her community by volunteering with Centera and CHKD. Kayla has served her school and community while maintaining a 4.42 GPA and received academic high honors during each year of high school. Kayla's plans for the future include attending college to complete a degree in chemistry. She has been accepted to Lynchburg College and plans to attend the fall of 2015. Join me in congratulating Kayla and thanking her for her contributions to Bruton High School.
Our next award is going to be from Grafton High School. Mrs. Kursky.
Yes, for May, Grafton High School is honored to recognize Daniel Kang as Senior of the Month. Daniel, would you and your parents please stand while I read about your many impressive accomplishments? Daniel is a member of the National Honor Society and Math Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, where his team won first place in the Christopher Newport University math competition. He is president of the Student Advisory Board at the Governor's School for Science and Technology, and president and first cello for the Peninsula Korean Youth Orchestra. For 4 years, Daniel has been a member of the Grafton High School tennis team, having earned Most Improved and Most Valuable Player. He is a member of the Grafton chess team, and his team placed second in the state chess competition. An avid advocate computer enthusiast, Daniel has earned Most Outstanding Computer Programmer at the Governor's School for Science and Technology, Outstanding Computer Science Research Award at the Rochester Institute of Technology, and first place at the Great Computer Challenge held at Old Dominion University. Daniel is valedictorian of the 2015 Grafton Senior Class and has earned an impressive 4.189 GPA. He plans to attend the College of William and Mary in the fall as a Monroe Scholar. Congratulations, Daniel. We're very proud of you.
Our next Senior of the Month is from Tabb High School, which could not be here this evening attending a award ceremony, but we're going to go ahead and mention, and Ms. Kursky, you have that one?
Yes. Well, what doesn't our May Student of the Month do? Megan Crow's leadership skills combined with her altruism and excellence in academics made her the DAR Good Citizen and also this year's York County Youth Commission's Outstanding Youth Overall Achievement. With a 4.57 GPA, ranked in the top 4% of her class, she is a National Merit Commended Scholar, an AP Scholar, belongs to 4 honor societies, holds numerous leadership positions for her class, and serves on the Student Council Executive Board, and was selected by teachers as one of 6 junior females to attend Virginia Girls State. She plays 3 varsity sports, where she has lettered since the 9th grade. She was named first team all-conference in cross country and has served as captain for 2 years, advancing to the state finals. She tutors math, is a 4-year band member, and volunteers with Smart Swim Club, an organization that teaches swimming skills and social interaction to young disabled youth. She is a NASA LARS intern and a SHE Fellow, where she presented a paper at Microsoft headquarters. How lucky Tabb High School is to have one of York County's finest, and we congratulate her and wish her well.
Thank you. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our York High School Senior of the Month for May, and that's Elizabeth Ruzica. If you can stand and obviously watch what happens next. Her family will stand too. Wonderful family. York High School is pleased to announce the selection of Elizabeth Ruzica as May's Senior of the Month. Her 4-year tenure at York is indicative of a student dedicated to her own education. She's inquisitive, hardworking, polite, and personable. Elizabeth's academic excellence led to her inclusion in the National Honor Society, the Spanish Honor Society, and the Mathematics Honor Society Mu Alpha Theta. Due to her high moral integrity, she was an instrumental player in the creation of the IB program's new Student Honor Code. She has also displayed her creative side as a member of the school's drama club. Also active outside of school, Elizabeth attended the prestigious summer session of the Governor's School of the Humanities, and most recently, she was York's Jefferson Scholar nominee. Active in the Girl Scouts, Elizabeth has earned the Gold Award and served 3 years as the ambassador rank as a Juliet. This past summer, Elizabeth backpacked at the National Park as an Accolade Scholar? Acola Scholar, where she worked closely with the National Park Service on their conservation efforts while also leading visitor expeditions through the park. Can't talk this evening. Elizabeth Ruzica is an exceptional student who has constantly performed at the highest academic and social levels. She is truly deserving of this prestigious Falcon Family Award, so congratulations. We will miss you as you graduate and move forward, and your family. Congratulations. The unfortunate part is they're moving, so we wish you well as your new endeavors. So, our next award this evening is going to be for York River Academy, and Mr. Mentor, you have that one.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. It's a real honor for me to introduce the Senior of the Month for York River Academy, Daniel Montgomery. If you'd stand, and your parents with you, Laura and Jonathan Montgomery, please stand. Any brothers or sisters? Okay, Tim. Let me read a little bit about Daniel. Daniel Montgomery is a unanimous choice of the staff at York River Academy as our Senior of the Year. Daniel is a remarkable young man and has showed tremendous growth over his high school career and is also one of the most accomplished students in the school. Daniel has great academic skills with a 3.5 GPA and scored in the pass advance range on most of his SOLs. His teachers report that he is always eager to learn more challenging material in and out of class, that he asks in-depth questions and provides insights and new information, brings new information to discussions and activities. Daniel has participated in the York County Division Science Fair for 2 years and was a member of the video editing team that won first place in the Great Computer Challenge at ODU. Daniel was the YCSD High School winner of the Discovery Education Broad Builders Competition and actively involved in the video projects at York River Academy. Daniel truly shines in the area of demonstrating the skills needed to achieve industrial certifications. He has earned 11 certifications during his time at York River Academy, including Microsoft Office Specialist in Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, and Adobe Suite. He has earned certifications in Photoshop, Dreamweaver, Flash, and Premium Pro. In fact, Daniel is the first student ever at York River Academy to be awarded the distinction of an Adobe Certification Association with Web Design Specialist in CS6. Sounds like something secret at this. Daniel has been involved with the Key Club during his time at York River Academy and has been one of the most faithful and productive members, not only attending in-school meetings and functions, but also being an active participant in the community outreaches and activities. He has served as an officer in the Key Club for the past 3 years. Daniel continues his community outreach by being an active member of the youth group of his church. Daniel intends to attend Thomas Nelson next year with the intention to transfer into an engineering program at Virginia Tech or ODU. We're very proud of the growth and progress that Daniel has made over the past 3 years, and it has been a joy for all of us, parents, staff, and community members, to watch him work hard and learn from experiences along the way. All of us who know Daniel have been encouraged and blessed by that association and know that he will achieve much in whatever he puts his hands to. We commend Daniel Montgomery as our Senior of the Year from York River Academy. Please join me in congratulating.
Okay, excellent. Our next series of awards, Mrs. Haywood, I'll give it to you. She's our acting board vice chair this evening.
Thank you very much.
Superintendent, I was going to go up front.
As Mr. Medford and Dr. Shandor are coming down front, I'm going to ask our first Student Service Award recipient from Mount Vernon Elementary School, Bobby Ash III, who's a fifth grader, and Principal Mary Lugo to come forward. Mount Vernon Elementary School is proud to have Bobby Ash represent us as our Student Service Award winner. Bobby serves our school and the greater community in many ways and does so with a happy heart. This year, Bobby has led our student body as the president of the SCA. He has demonstrated leadership qualities in fifth grade that will no doubt make him a successful and accomplished young adult. He is a leader in his classroom, in his community, and on the sports field. In our school, Bobby has shown great compassion for working with children of various abilities. Last year, he willingly gave up his spot on his wrestling team to be a mentor teammate for children with special needs. This mentorship continued throughout our school as he began reaching out to students with special needs and educating his friends on how to be a good peer role model. He also works alongside children with special needs in his church community of Northside Christian Church. Bobby has been so inspired by the work he does with this population of children that for the past 3 years, he has not accepted gifts for his birthday, but instead he asked his friends to make donations to the Special Olympics organization. Bobby has also shown courage and maturity beyond his years, and it was evident last summer that he has a calm and cool head on his shoulders. While at a pool party, one of his friends was in distress and began to drown. While other children and adults panicked, Bobby jumped in and grabbed his friend's hand and pulled him to the shallow end of the pool. There is no doubt that Bobby's quick action and calm thinking saved his friend's life. Bobby is admired by peers and adults for his outgoing personality, leadership in sports such as football, baseball, and basketball, and friendly spirit. Bobby is a friend to all, and we couldn't be more proud to call him Mount Vernon Mustang. Please join me in congratulating Bobby. Wonderful accomplishments. I turn now to Mr. Mentor for the Tabb High School representative.
Thank you, Mrs. Haywood. It's a real honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you Tabb High School's Student Service Award winner, Asia Parekh. Would you please come forward with your principal, Mrs. Angie Sanders? Read a little bit about Asia. Tabb High School is honored to present Asia with the 2015 Student Service Award. From her countless hours of Tabb involvement to her service in community organizations, Asia exemplifies the spirit of dedication, altruism, and passion this award represents. Asia sees the need and acts on it. She is the founder and co-president of the Tutoring Club, providing specialized tutoring for students in specific subjects. This club is in the second year and has assisted close to 100 students. As a multiple National Honor Society, SCA, and Girls Ensemble member, Asia has maintained a stellar 3.86 GPA in weighted and AP courses. Along with her involvement at Tabb, she continues to find ways to give her time in the community. She is admired by teachers and peers for her positive attitude, strong work ethic, leadership, and professionalism. Her resume is remarkable in terms of community service with over 520-plus volunteer hours, and that's in a conservative estimate. Asia is a longtime Riverside Regional Medical Center volunteer, Percussion Library summer volunteer, served over 100 hours in the YMCA Leaders Club, and has participated in numerous free community performances with the Tabb High Girls Ensemble. Asia will be attending Christopher Newport University in the fall as a CNU honor student and member of the President's Leadership Program. Asia will be pursuing the pre-med track, majoring in biology. She hopes to become involved in Doctors Without Borders one day, carrying on her passion to remain active in service to others. Our loss is CNU's gain as CN receives one of Tabb's best. Please join me in congratulating her.
We now move to our Community Volunteers of the Month. And the first volunteer to be recognized is from Mount Vernon Elementary School. If Mrs. Annie Cold would come forward with Principal Mary Lugo, please. Mount Vernon Elementary is proud to recognize Mrs. Annie Cole as our Volunteer of the Month. The Cole family moved to the United States from Denmark last summer, and they joined the Mustang family right away. Mrs. Cole immediately wanted to become an active parent in our school, and she jumped in without hesitation. While her assistance has been greatly appreciated, what we enjoy even more is her bright, sincere smile and positive attitude that she shares with everyone she meets. Mrs. Cole has been instrumental in the success of many PTA family events this year. She's often one of the first to arrive and the last to leave, as she ensures that our setup and cleanup duties are covered. She also baked delicious cookies for the Teacher Cookie Exchange and supplied food for teacher appreciation luncheons. Mrs. Cole serves on the Hospitality Committee, the Vendor Night Committee, and the Mustang Night Committee, where she prepared a craft for the children to create and take home. We also understand that she has already made arrangements to serve on the PTA at Tabb Middle next year, as her son will be in 6th grade. When not volunteering for PTA, she can be found volunteering in the classroom for activities such as hands-on science, class activities, and holiday gatherings. She helps in whatever way she can and does everything with a smile and kindness. Thank you, Mrs. Cole, for supporting our school and giving us so much of your time. Please join me in congratulating her. And Mrs. Kursky, you have Tabb High.
Yes. I would like to invite Tabb High School Volunteer of the Month, Jody Andrews, and Tabb Principal Angela Siders to the front. Jody's volunteering tonight. Oh. The senior banquet for everybody else. Well, Jody Andrews is the parent of a Tabb High senior and a 2013 graduate. She has worked tirelessly for many Tabb activities, but is most visible with anything to do with the wrestling team. Several years prior to her son starting at Tabb, she began to support the wrestling program with her organization and fundraising talents and her dedication. As part of the wrestling program, Mrs. Andrews has coordinated match concessions, which included both the food and the volunteers. She has chaired many of the parent volunteer programs that involved wrestling as well. For 2 Bay Rivers District tournaments and 2 Conference 19 tournaments that were hosted by Tabb, she has organized just about every aspect of the tournament, including the hospitality rooms and the concession stands. Mrs. Andrews has been the official team parent for wrestling for the past 4 years, which included collecting athletic participation fees, athletic pledges from both the junior and varsity athletes. In addition, anytime the wrestling team has to travel, Mrs. Andrews has orchestrated all of that, including hotel rooms and communication with other teams. She can also be found making sure that fundraising is happening for the wrestling team as well, with yearly car washes and yard sales. Finally, she has organized the yearly wrestling banquet and coordinated awards each year. Tabb's athletic director, Mrs. Weicker, stated that Mrs. Andrews is the liaison between the athletic director's office and the wrestling team. Although the wrestlers and coaches have definitely worked hard for their successes, Tabb High owes many thanks to Mrs. Andrews for her continued and long-standing support of the wrestling program. And for Tabb High's sake, we would love for her to continue working with the wrestling program for many seasons to come. Congratulations, Mrs. Andrews.
We now have a presentation from the York Foundation for Public Education, and I turn to Mrs. Kursky.
Yes, I would like to invite Jim Noel of the York Foundation for Public Education to come forward, along with Essie Blanchard and Bobby Ash and Asia Parikh. Congratulations to Essie Blanchard, a 5th grade student from Mount Vernon Elementary School, for reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at tonight's school board meeting. And we would like to recognize tonight's Student Service Award recipients, Bobby Ash III from Mount Vernon Elementary School and Asia Parikh from Tabb High School. Special gifts from Cookie Text, an edible tweet, are being presented on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education in partnership with their donor, Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Text, an edible tweet. Congratulations.
And lastly, I turn back to Mrs. Kursky for the Virginia School Boards Association Honor Roll Award.
Yes, and I would like to invite Mr. Noel back to the stage, along with any other board members from the York Foundation for Public Education. The Virginia School Boards Association helps school divisions say thank you to local businesses for their vital contributions to public education by recognizing supportive business partners on the VSBA Business Honor Roll. Tonight, we are pleased to announce and congratulate 3 York County recipients named to the VSBA Business Honor Roll. Would Town Bank President Brian Skinner and Vice President Sandra Allen and Young and Wan Cho, the owners of Honey Baked Ham Company and Cafe, please come to the stage. Unfortunately, John and Tricia Biagas of the Bay Electric Company cannot attend tonight, but we would like to congratulate and thank John and Tricia Biagas of Bay Electric Company as the recipient of the VSBA Business Honor Roll Award for their continued partnership with the York Foundation for Public Education via their endowed Bay Electric Company Technology Initiative of $100,000, their golf tournament sponsorships, and various prize sponsorships throughout the last 5 years. The Biagas family is committed to the students, staff, and employees of the York County School Division, and we thank them so very much for their support. Next, congratulations and thank you to Town Bank President Brian Skinner and Vice President Sandra Allen. Town Bank is being named to the VSBA Business Honor Roll for its continued partnership with the York Foundation via their endowed Town Bank Teacher of the Year Fund of $25,000, the Town Bank Bailey Field Scoreboard Grant, golf tournament sponsorships, as well as prize sponsorships throughout the last 5 years. Town Bank truly does serve as that local bank that gives back to its community, and we thank you so very much for your support of public education. And finally tonight, congratulations and thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Young Cho of Honey Baked Ham Company and Cafe as the recipient of a VSBA Business Honor Roll Award in recognition of their continued support of the York Foundation via their YFPE annual dinner sponsorship, Restaurant Week sponsorships, golf tournament sponsorships, and various prize sponsorships during the last 4 years. We absolutely love your food, and we appreciate your support of York County Schools. Please join me in a final round of applause for our Business Honor Roll winners.
Thank you. And as Dr. Shandor and Mr. Medford come back for one more presentation.
Okay, exciting evening. We have one more presentation that's not on the agenda this evening on Dr. Shandor. This is a surprise.
Thank you. So I've received some information, and I would like to share that this evening. I want to share some exciting news pertaining to one of our school board members. Mr. Paige Minter, on June 11, 2015, Mr. Minter will be inducted into the Virginia Career and Technical Education Hall of Fame. Let's give him a round. In recognition of this important event, I'd like to share some information with you relating to this award. Almost daily, we hear or read of the importance of technical careers in today's workforce and the workforce of the future. This award honors people from government or elected officials, education, and business. Strong partnerships among these groups have long been the hallmark of success for career and technical education. Past inductees include Senator Mark Warner, Senator Tim Kaine. Congratulations, Mr. Minter, on this fantastic and well-deserved honor on being inducted into the Virginia Career and Technical Education Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Paige, just to add to that, I know as long as I've been on the board, you have been that advocate for career in tech, New Horizons, the students that choose something sometimes other than the college track, but they do so well in our community because the need is there. And so you have joined the ranks of some really, really fine people, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm very flattered. There's a lot of people that work with you along the way that deserve it just as much, and I'm just proud to be able to work with Career in Tech, and very flattered at this. So I guess when you get old and dusty, they stick you somewhere, hang you on the wall.
Paige, you keep doing exactly what you
All
keep
right,
doing best.
thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, with that, we're going to take a short recess so we can come down and meet our award winners this evening.
Can I call you son?
Jennifer is just an exceptional teacher in every way. She has so many wonderful things going in her classroom on a given day that her children run from their parents' cars or run from the bus to get to class to see what Ms. Schaefer has planned for them that day.
She really takes individual time with the students, and she's able to get them past certain obstacles that they might have.
And she has this gift of, no matter what little friends we put in her classroom, that she sees the best in them. Karen has been able to make a very difficult time in one of our students' lives just a little bit easier and a little bit brighter.
Last year, when Isaiah lost his primary caregiver, our school reached out to their family, and I knew that that was going to be a really challenging time for him, and so I just made a decision to step up my relationship with him.
She helps me do lots of stuff that makes me feel proud of myself. I never went swimming in a lake before. She opened a lot of opportunities to play basketball or help friends.
Those are all experiences that he wouldn't have had otherwise, and while it wasn't a big deal for us to include him, it's life-changing for him.
She says, I know you can do this because I will always believe in you and nothing will ever change that.
His life is so much better for having her, and I also feel Karen's life is better for having him.
It makes me feel happy that she cares a lot about me, and she will always have a place in our heart.
I want to see him, march in graduation and see what he becomes. And it's just, there's nothing more rewarding as a teacher to be able to be a part of that.
The reason why there's such an entourage in here is for the baby and to let you know that you've been selected as YCSD's Elementary Level Teacher of the Year. So congratulations.
She is a reading teacher of all reading teachers who truly supports not only just students but our staff as well and parents too, so that they can learn reading instruction tips to be able to help their children at home.
I really do feel like York County is a family. I feel like as a working professional and trying to figure out how to be a working mom, the support of Mrs. Parr and the Tab Tigers have been absolutely phenomenal.
Catherine is an amazing person, amazing reading specialist. She always goes above and beyond and is extremely helpful to everyone. She plans things and always thinks about the children and the best needs of the children.
The number one thing that children will say about their time with Catherine is that she makes learning fun for them.
I think Andrea was a clear winner for our Teacher of the Year. She is a teacher leader in the building. She's a mentor to many of our younger teachers. She is an outstanding math teacher. She makes a connection with each and every one of her students.
I came here in January and I wasn't good at math. And she helped me, and now I understand math, and I'm very thankful for her.
A couple of years ago, she came to me and she asked me if she could teach the most challenging math class that we had. And she wanted to take on that challenge because she wanted to grow her skills. And that's what she's about, growing as a professional, becoming better every day for her children.
Like my favorite teacher. I love coming to math every day. She makes it fun, and she really goes step by step and teaches you how to do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The middle school teacher of the year for 2016. Let's give her one more hand. I'm sorry to interrupt your class this morning. My name is Vic Shandor. I'm the superintendent for York County Schools, and I wanted to stop by to deliver some news to Ms. Otstad.
Tori Otstad is such an awesome person. She really cares about kids, and she's not afraid to let her kids see that she cares about them.
It makes me feel more comfortable in the classroom. She explains stuff to you that you don't understand, so it's like you actually understand what you're doing.
The thing that Tori does so well and what makes her so special is that every single one of her kids feel like they are special.
They attempted to get a grant this year to get some paint because they wanted to paint the school. And she took that project and worked it into the English curriculum to get them the content that they needed. And they really got involved and got excited about writing to persuade.
She individually helped us when areas that we have problems with, and she took time to help out each student in their area, and then she's always giving us advice and trying to boost us up and bringing us confidence to ourselves.
So let's give her a big round of applause.
I think the thing about Tori too is she's so excited about English, she's so passionate about it that they can't help but be excited.
Okay, we're going to return our meeting to order now. We're going to move into our business portion of our meeting. And do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Okay, then we're going to move into our presentations. Our first one is our accent on academics. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. For this evening's accent on academics, we will have a presentation from Yorktown Middle School. Fractions and decimals fund our feast. Yorktown Middle School Foundations of Algebra students in grade 6 used fractions, decimals, and practical problem solving to create a menu for a Thanksgiving feast hosted by a local food bank. Students collected recipes, formed a budget, and enlarged portions for mass feeding. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Dr. Susan Hutton, principal from Yorktown Middle School.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Also, good evening, Chairman of the Board, Mr. Medford, and esteemed school board members. I want to thank all of you for your time and the opportunity to showcase an example of our students' learning this evening. I welcome and I also appreciate all others who are joining us, including teachers, students, parents, and community members. I'm Susan Hutton, principal of Yorktown Middle School. Tonight, I'm excited to share one of the projects our grade 6 math teachers implemented this year. The 6th grade math team works collaboratively in their planning of instructional projects. They focus on integrating the Foundations of Algebra Part 1 curriculum into meaningful learning for their students. The math teachers ensure the students have real-world connections, use critical thinking, and collaborate with their peers while making a difference beyond the classroom. The project highlighted tonight, entitled Fund the Feast, took place back in the fall and involved about 200 students. It was amazing to see how the students used math to consider many aspects of an in-depth project that included learning about local and global poverty with real-world connections of using decimals and fractions for comparing serving sizes, multiplying recipe quantities, and forming a budget. With me this evening is Miss Elizabeth O'Brien, one of our York Middle School math teachers, and 2 of her students, Jenny and Chloe, who at this time will talk to us more about Fund the Feast.
Good evening, Dr. Shandor, Chairman Medford, and members of the school board. I am Elizabeth O'Brien, one of the 4 6th grade math teachers who designed and implemented this project-based learning unit entitled Fund the Feast. In designing the project, our goal was not only to incorporate the decimal applications and fraction operations that are taught at the 6th grade level, but also to make cross-cultural connections, increase the use of 21st century learning skills, and to include writing across the curriculum. The 21st century learning skills included collaboration and communication skills that were used extensively by the student-led catering companies. The use of technology was not only used by the students to design their presentations, but was also used to access information during the research phase of the project. In addition, students learned about cultures and traditions beyond those celebrated in America during this project. Finally, in keeping with the goals of our school's improvement plan, we incorporated writing skills into several phases of the project, including the culminating presentation that required persuasive speech writing. Tonight I've brought with me 2 of my students, Chloe Brazil and Jenny Wagner, to share with you their journey through this project-based learning unit.
We were introduced to this unit when Ms. O'Brien shared with us a letter from the Peninsula Food Bank. The letter asked us to create a catering company that would create a meal for 100 people for a Thanksgiving feast for their clients. We had to have a turkey, vegetable, starch, and dessert as part of our menu. We chose recipes to scale up and made lists of ingredients needed.
Here's an example of a recipe, and here's how to multiply the fractions to get an appropriate amount of ingredients to feed 100 people. Sweet potatoes. The amount for one dish is 3.5 pounds. Then you have to times it by 6 1/4 to make it feed 100 people. First, you'll have to change them in proper fractions, so you'll do 3 times 2 plus 1, which equals 7. So it'll be 7/2 because the denominator stays the same. Do the same to the other fraction, it will be 25/4. Then times them together and you'll get 175 over 8. Then see how many times 8 goes into 175 and you'll get 21 and 7/8. Then you'll have to round it up to 22 pounds.
We used technology to help us with our project. We used the Farm Fresh website to compare prices and find the price of ingredients. We used what we learned about unit pricing to help us. We also used QR codes that we scanned to help us learn about poverty in York County and all around the world.
Groups had to do a presentation on a poster, PowerPoint, or an iMovie. You had to include 5 facts about poverty that we researched. It also included menus with all the ingredients. You had to have cost per person and the total cost of the menu.
We also had to research facts about Thanksgiving and other traditions around the world. This is when we learned about the Harvest Festival that is celebrated like our Thanksgiving in other parts of the world.
The food was donated by all the 401 families. Families that were not able to contribute food, they could bring in empty cereal boxes with price tags on them. We used the donated food items to learn how to do unit pricing. All the food was donated after the unit was completed.
I learned how to help my mom with recipes when she was baking, like when we made cookies and we wanted to make more than the recipe serves, and we also had to double it. I also learned how to look at prices more in the grocery store.
I learned to look and shop for the better deals at the grocery store. I also know how to do math better too.
Thank you. That was great. That was great.
All I can do is say, wow, I'm hungry. Not in huge quantities like that, though. But for the students, a question for you, too. You know, you've been in math classes before as you've gone through the schools. When a teacher added this kind of difference to that math class, did you think did it make it more exciting? Did it make you stay focused more? Did you actually really enjoy what you were doing, which obviously we could tell you did, but how did you feel about that difference in the math class?
We felt like it was more exciting to learn and more fun to learn about new math skills and easier too.
I love this because you've turned just numbers on a math worksheet into something real life and practical, and it's made the learning fun. I'm very excited about this project. I hope you continue it and spread the word to the other schools.
It was a great presentation.
It is fantastic.
And I like the fact that now you're in the grocery store with your parents and you're actually now checking out the deals, the pricing, figuring out how much that junk food costs versus something else maybe that you would get that would be healthier. That's kind of a neat concept of what happens after you finish your class project. So great job.
Yeah, very good stuff.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
York Middle School rocked it again. Our next presentation is the French class. Dr. Shandor.
Yes, for our other presentation this evening, Miss Catherine Carter, a French teacher at Grafton High School, will come forward and share information from the most recent student exchange to France and introduce the presenters.
Good evening, Dr. Shandor, members of the board, and community who are here this evening. I'm the French teacher at Grafton High School, and I've brought with me to this evening 2 of my students. Brittany is in my French 4, and Lauren is in my French 2. And they both participated this year in the Sister Cities exchange to Port Vendre, France. And they're really excited this evening to share with you their experiences and our plans for the future with this wonderful program.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. My name is Brittany, and this is my friend Lauren. We've recently participated in the exchange program between Port Vendre and Yorktown. We participated in this over spring break, and we are just here to show our appreciation and to share some of the exciting things that we experienced while we were there. We departed on March 31st, and we visited Barcelona in Spain and Montserrat. We arrived in the school Lycée Duda de Séverac April 3rd, and we were greeted by our host families. We spent April 3rd to 8th with families exploring Serres, Porvendres, Carcassonne, and Collioure. Overnight, we spent an overnight train to Paris, and that was quite an experience. And we spent April 9th to 11th in Paris, and after that we returned home. We had 10 students come with us from various schools in York County. It was a very exciting experience that we all enjoyed. We all went for various reasons, whether to explore the French culture, to expand our knowledge of speaking, or just to have fun and explore. One of my favorite things while I was there was, while I was staying actually with my French family, I was having dinner with them when I decided to have some cream of some duck on my bread. And they decided to hand it to me, and they asked, what does the sound of this animal make in English? And I said, quack, quack. And they thought it was one of the best things ever, because in French it's can. So quack, quack is a quite different experience. And throughout the entire time, my French family would hand it to me and say, quack, quack, Brittany, quack, quack. It was quite fun, because everyone there was friends, and even her mother would walk up to me and try to show her friends how funny her American student was by saying, Brittany, what do you like? And I would go, quack, quack. And everyone would just basically roll on the ground laughing from this weird American phrase of an animal. Yeah, it was absolutely an amazing time. I've never experienced anything like going here before, and it was just the best time I've ever had, honestly. My favorite experience was spending Easter dinner with my family. They were so nice and accepted me as like one of their own. They just continued to ask me like how they say certain words in English, like when they said, cheers, like they all just said cheers like nonstop after that. They didn't know how to say oysters, because apparently the family did not like oysters. And so they just thought the phrase was just the strangest thing, and they just continued to say it over and over. They had a wonderful time, and they were all just great. A lot of food, a lot of portions. I was definitely stuffed after all of that. But yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. So the schedule for the fall are, our students will arrive in October 14th at Grafton. October 15th, they'll visit Yorktown and Victory Center. October 16th, they'll visit schools and attend classes with us, the correspondents. October 17th and 18th, they'll spend time with us at their host families. October 19th, Yorktown Day Parade and a picnic with them. October 20th, they'll visit Jamestown Settlement, and October 21st, attend classes with them. And October 22nd, Miss Hampton boat ride and farewell dinner. We would just like to again say thank you for all your support, especially with donating our trip insurance. And we'd just like to say thank you again for giving us permission to not only make friends, but also to build relationships with people in foreign lands and come back with family, not only friendships, but with an extended now family. And we'd just like to say thank you once more and for everything. Yeah, merci beaucoup.
Well, thank you very much for the update on it sound like y'all had a great time and learned a lot. Are y'all participating or doing anything that first weekend in June that the French frigate is coming over, and the celebrations and stuff that are happening here in Yorktown?
I personally will be going just to have fun. I don't know if we're actually doing anything officially. Okay. But I personally will be there.
Yeah, it'll be a good experience here in York County too. So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very nice. I know in the past, when the students have, through the German exchange program, the Zweibrücken, we always had the students come to our school board meeting, but I don't know if we'll have time for that, if it works out or not. Mr. Shearhart, once again, you have to follow two really fantastic presentations. For your presentation this evening on construction report information, Dr. Shandor.
Yeah, Mr. Shearhart, if you'll share the construction report.
Well, I'm very sorry, but I do not have any French cooking to share with you this evening. I just have a meager little capital projects report for the month of May.
Probably a lot of math in this report, though, if you really think about it.
There might be some math.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Shandor, this is your capital projects report for the month of May. I'm going to be covering several different projects. One of these is just shortly completed over the spring break. This project was taken care of by Greg Dolak. This is replacing the auxiliary gym floor at York High School. This was in the CIP. And you can see in this picture here, you can see the floor was slightly wore out and definitely needed to be replaced. So one of the options we chose here was to fill the holes that were in the floor and then cover it. And we covered it with this material here, which is a very flexible foam-backed material that is very resilient and allows the students to have some protection for their knees when they're playing on the floor instead of just a hard surface. So that's what their gym looks like now. Then we have another project that's underway right now, and it's at York Middle School. They had a problem that with the football field. At one end, they had ponding, actually flooding at one end of the field whenever we had heavy rain. And so we were trying to figure out why that was occurring, and we found out that the existing drain field, or the existing drainage pipe for that field, had collapsed. And it had been in the ground for about 50 years, so it's about due. But we've hired a contractor here, and they're replacing that pipe. We decided that the best option was to replace the existing pipe with a larger pipe, and it was, and with some plastic pipes. So you can see here's a slight difference. I don't think the field's going to flood anymore.
I don't think so either.
No.
So then the next project I have, and these are coming up for this summer, is, and I've mentioned these to the board before, but I was going to cover them again since this is the last regular board meeting before the summer that I have a presentation at. And this is the HVAC and partial roof replacement. Again, this is the fourth year for this school, and it'll be the last year we'll be at that school, fortunately. We are doing additional work there. The contract documents are at the contractor right now being signed, and he's gathering his insurance documents and all that, getting that all back to us to purchasing. The restrooms will be renovated. These are the original restrooms in that building. They've been there, I think 1954 is when the building was originally built, and they definitely need to be renovated. The contractor will also finish the interior painting in the building. Last year we painted approximately half of the interior, and so this will finish out painting the rest of the building. Also, the last Monday, you approved funding for replacing the classroom casework. I think Dennis Jared said that he actually might have climbed on that existing, the original casework there when he was a student there. And so that's finally being replaced, and again, that was in there since the building was first built. At Grafton High School, middle school, we have some roof repairs going on there. You know, we've had some problems with roof leaks there along the outside walls of the building. Initially, it was thought to be just the windows, but we found out there was some problems with the roof, and so we were taking action to seal the windows and to also do some roof work this summer. We do have a pre-bid meeting tomorrow at the school at 10 o'clock, and the plan is to improve the roof drainage to make the water drain more towards the roof drains instead of damming up behind the roof parapets there. We will also raise some of the roof parapets to improve drainage behind them. And then at the entrances there, I don't know if you know, but there's been some problems, major problems at the entrances, both entrances, middle and high school, where the water has been coming in there, and we're going to take care of that, as well as the flying beams over the front doors. We're going to take the brick off of those flying beams and wrap those with metal, so it will look very different when the students come back in the fall. They will be blue beams, or blue flying beams over the doors. So here's a picture of the roof of the building. And so basically all along the outside edges of is where the contractor will be putting additional roofing in this summer. So we're not replacing the entire roof. We're just replacing, do some repairs along the outside edges. Now we do have Grafton High School slated for the roof to be replaced in FY18, and also the Grafton Middle School roof to be replaced in FY19. But we're hoping that with these repairs, we may be able to push that date out or do some other alternatives to the roof, like coating the roof, somewhat similar to what we did at York Middle School, and extend the life of the roof rather than having to replace it in FY18 and 19. So this summer will be telling when we open up the roof there. So here's the front of the building, the entrance of the middle school. And again, that beam up above the entrance there that has Grafton Middle School on it, that will be wrapped with metal. It will be blue when the students return. And Grafton Middle School will be in larger block letters and in aluminum. So it'll stand out more, stand out better for any visitors or anybody coming up to the school to be able to see it more clearly. And then that overhang there above the doors is what we're going to also re-roof. So hopefully we'll stop all the leaks there at the front of the building.
Can I, Mr. Shearhart?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a very cosmetic question about the blue, but will it be Grafton blue? I mean, or?
It will be as close to Grafton blue as we can get. One of the things we found out is that the blue metal siding comes in a variety of colors, and it's basically a standard variety of colors that you can get worldwide, and we have to pick one of those colors. We can get a custom color, but then it may not last as long. We want to get a baked-on enamel.
I just think the Grafton team would probably appreciate if it was as close to their blue and not a York blue or something.
Oh, it's not a York blue. It's not a York blue. So then another project that's for this summer is the Magruder Elementary School project, and we've talked about this one before as well. And just touching base on this one here, the contract documents are in our hands now. We're reviewing them to make sure everything's accurate and correct. Again, we are replacing the heating and air conditioning in the main building, painting it, and also installing new lights, LED lighting in the building, which should make the building very energy efficient. The gymnasium also we talked about before is getting a new heating and air conditioning system, and they're giving air conditioning for the first time. I was in there today. It's miserable in that gym without air conditioning, so it will be a welcome feature to have. Also, we're enclosing the breezeway at that school, which will enhance security there. The children no longer have to walk outside the main building and then walk into the gymnasium. They can walk through the breezeway. And that brings me to another point that I don't know if I've informed you about before, but we are creating a security vestibule by the front offices. So now no longer will it just be the front doors. There will be front doors and a second set of doors inside those front doors a little bit further down the hallway. So people coming into the building have to go to the office before they can get back into the rest of the building where the students are at. So we're creating a security vestibule at Magruder Elementary School. Here's a picture, a diagram of how the contractor is going to approach the building. So you can see there's phase 1, 2, 3, 4 as he works through the building. And back in the back there, you see where the orange, or where the red is, and the upper left-hand corner. That wing is the addition wing, and the furniture and boxes and things for the rest of the building are going to be moved back into that addition, which has its own heating and air conditioning system for the summer, and then everything will be moved back into the building as the building is made ready. The one thing I wanted to bring out here, we are putting a fire sprinkler system in the building, which doesn't have one now, so we're taking this opportunity to put a fire sprinkler system in the building, and the contractor will have to finish up his final phase of work in that addition hallway there. So you see, before August 21st, they'll be doing work out in the hallway. After August 21st, which is substantial completion, they'll be doing work in those classrooms. They're trying to get in those classrooms and out before the teachers arrive on the 24th and the 26th of August. So that's our plan there. So.
Just a quick question on that project. Everything has to be removed from the classrooms that are going to be having the systems turned off and this work being done.
Right. Everything has to be moved from the classrooms. Now, the casework at this building is all staying in place. It's all laminated casework, so doesn't have paint peeling off like at Grafton Bethel. So all the casework is staying in place, so they can put everything they can into the cabinets and the casework, and leave that in the classrooms. And then they're going to seal up all the doors and all the cracks with blue painter's tape.
Okay.
So we keep the dust out. And then all the loose furniture and boxes and things like that have to go back to that addition.
I worry about humidity because we've seen what result of humidity have done to libraries and books and things. Are we having to bring in any temporary storage, or is that going to be enough space in that newer wing to put everything that's in the rest of the school?
We'll bring in some temporary storage, Connex boxes and things like that for the cafeteria furniture and things like that. We don't anticipate it being a major problem here. We did the same type of thing at Coventry. It did not have any major issues there. Okay. And we did the same type of things at Grafton Bethel last year. We did not have any major problems there.
Right. Good, perfect.
Mr. Sherrod, I think, Mark, are you reflecting back? I know at Tab Middle when we did a renovation, that was the year they had so much rain and moisture and all those books got mold on them.
Yeah,
that was several years ago.
We are not opening up the building like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just worried about where all the stuff's going to go, but you got a plan, so obviously we know you've already got that thought
Greg
through.
Dolack and I and Dr. James, we've been working through this.
But for the behalf of the community of the RAP Magruder, I mean, we literally have to move everything out of those rooms and support the teachers and staff when we start moving everything back into those rooms. So, and hope it's done on time, which it will be, I'm sure.
I can't believe you said that.
It's nice to hear about the security vestibule.
Yeah, that's good.
That's new. I hadn't
Right,
heard
so
that.
it's not only going to have the breezeway secure, now it'll also have a security vestibule.
As Mr. Shearhart said, they've had lots of practice with Coventry and Grafton Bethel.
That we have. So then the last project I'll touch on this evening is Wallerville Elementary School, and this is the addition and renovations there. And I've addressed this before the board. And again, this will add one classroom wing there and then a gymnasium wing. The classroom wing will have 8 classrooms. The gymnasium wing will have gymnasium and 2 classrooms. And then we will renovate the existing building. It needs it. It has all the original casework and tile and sinks and everything. It's all original. I think we painted it once since it was built. The heating and air conditioning equipment there is hand-me-downs from Seaford and Dare. When we took those buildings to geothermal, we took the heating and air conditioning equipment that was left over. It hadn't died yet. We moved it up there to up to Waller Mill and kind of patched that together and kept it running. I reviewed the 95% drawings. The architect and our engineers have the 100% drawings are due to me this Friday. And Greg Dolack is in the process of getting one of the trailers moved from Waller Mill. It's inside the footprint of the classroom addition, and he's moving that one to York Elementary School to help alleviate some of the crowding at York Elementary School. So this is what the building will look like when it's done, or this is what it potentially will look like. We don't have the plans, obviously done yet. But this is the classroom addition. You can see in the back there, very similar to what we did at Seaford. And then you can see the gymnasium there off to the right-hand side, and then below the gymnasium is where the art and the music classroom are right there. And then what we've done here is we've bumped out in the middle. You can see we've bumped out the office area a little bit. We tried to expand the offices there just to give them a little bit more room there, but also we've expanded the library, give them a little bit more room in the library. One of the other features of that bump out is a security vestibule here too. So we built a security vestibule at Waller Mill, trying to similar to what we did at Magruder, so that people entering the building cannot get past a second set of doors without going through the office first. So that's what we've done there. And this, I've asked the architect for a rendering of what the building should look like, and this is what it should look like.
Wow.
So it doesn't look like Waller Mill anymore.
No, it doesn't.
This area here in the middle here, the light color, that's where the library's bumped out at. The area on the left-hand side where the 3 windows are is where the offices are, and then that high section in the back there is where the gymnasium will be at.
And how do you design the parking lot? Because the gymnasium would be going in the area on that right side.
It goes in the grass. Between the building and the parking lot's a large grass
So
area.
there's enough space for the gym to go there, okay?
Yes, there is.
Now, obviously, as that school grows, we're going to have to really look at parking, definitely, because
We are expanding the parking lot, taking the parking lot straight back towards the ball fields further as we do this.
Are they doing anything with the dance studio, or is that going to remain the same place?
The dance studio is going to be in the gymnasium.
Gymnasium, okay.
They're going to have this similar type of floor, the soft floor, in the gymnasium. We're moving the mirrors to the gymnasium and then covering the mirrors during regular games, so they're not going to be damaged.
Okay, perfect.
When that's complete, that school's come a long way from the time it almost closed.
Yeah.
Could I ask one question, please? Mr. Hardy, the aerial view of Grafton High School, can you go back to that? I don't have those on.
Let's see here, I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, they weren't in our packet.
Yeah. The band room, the newest one in the south part of the building.
Yes, sir, all the way on the left-hand side?
Yes, sir. Is that roof, it's nowhere close to having to be replaced? is
No,
it?
no, it's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
And we wouldn't be touching this roof. The roof has a good slope on it and everything. The problem is the water, if you can see the parapets at the very edge of the building, the water runs to the outside of the building, and it's damming up behind the parapets instead of, they didn't put what they call crickets, which slope and direct the water to the drains. They did not put them in, and that's what's caused part of our problem with the damming of the water behind the parapets. So that's what we're going to take care of this summer, make the water flow where it should flow.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I guess there's no vacation time for you this summer, Mark.
No, I don't think so.
You'll be busy. Thank you very much for the presentation this evening. Our next item is, first we have a public hearing on proposed school board salaries for FY16. I'm going to go ahead and open up our public hearing. We have no one signed up to speak for that public hearing, so I'm going to close the public hearing on our school board salaries for FY16. That'll come up again as an action item. We have no one signed up to speak under public participation at the board meeting. If anybody wishes to address the board, I'll have some time at the conclusion of our meeting to do so, which brings us to our matter by board members. Mr. Minter.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Beverly. I just have a couple little things. I reflected back, Mrs. Kursky and Sheila Knoll was at the town hall meeting, and a lot of times after you leave, you think about the questions and you look back at them. And I just wanted to really thank the staff and the students for the time they put to put them together. They were good questions, and you have a lot of reflections and thoughts about some of the answers and things. So even though they sort of repeat themselves every year, it's good to be reminded of it. So thanks for all the work everybody put in. Rick Smithers and from County, great job. I just wanted to, on the 13th of this month, I attended New Horizons Master Focus Plan group. There's a look into the future, what's going to happen to career in tech. It's growing in leaps and bounds as far as the needs of the manufacturing community. And will it someday become an all-day school where kids go? Will it be maybe a lot of computer work and come? So there's just a lot of discussion, and it's really exciting because they've had several focus groups between the individuals at New Horizons and some of the business people, and there's a consultant working with them right now, so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. I just wanted you to know that that was going on, and this new special ed building is coming up. I see walls when I was up there, and it's better than what I saw at one time, mud, when I was there. So, just one thing, I just wanted to thank Dr. Shandor and all of our people that was involved with the YCSD Employment Recognition Banquet. It was a fantastic event. People actually stayed around for quite a while after and talked and had a lot of fun and got a little teary-eyed in a couple places, but I guess that's what it was supposed to be. But many thanks to all that took part in working on that. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Ms. Kursky.
I'll try to read through this pretty quickly. I've got a lot, I tell you. I said spring is such a fun time at our schools. Where else can you combine recitals, plays, prom, AP testing,
Athletics.
SOLs, athletic events? But I want to thank the fourth grade team at Grafton Bethel Elementary School for inviting me to their Knowledge Bowl. The fourth grade students learned all kinds of facts about Virginia as they played Who Wants to Be a Virginianaire? Deal or No Deal, in Carol Bauer's class was in charge of that one. A grandparent was there to teach the children how to quilt and sew. And I've got pictures. I wish I could show the pictures, but it's on my Twitter account. So if you would like to see the pictures, just check out the C. Kursky on Twitter. I know those students are going to ace those Virginia SOLs because they were having so much fun answering all of those questions. I want to also commend the Coventry kids. Every year I look forward to attending their talent show, and I'm always amazed at how talented our young students are playing the piano at 7 years old, and they do an outstanding job. And speaking of Coventry, Coventry Elementary School turns 25 years old this year. So I would like to invite folks to come out to Coventry Saturday, May 30th, between 4 and 7. There will be hot dogs and hamburgers for sale, carnival-type games, and you can take a tour of the facility there. So it'd be a special time for past students to come back and see folks. It's prom time. I know Grafton and York just had their proms this past weekend. I enjoyed seeing all the students all cleaned up and with their fancy dress and tuxedos. They looked fabulous. And I want to thank the principals and the teachers and the parents for all the extra hours they put in to make the prom happen and to give the seniors such a special evening. I also want to thank the 8th grade students at Grafton Middle School in the history and English classes who researched various issues important to them and found their voice and wrote me letters. They were most eloquent and you could tell very passionate about the different issues that they wrote me about. Whether that was Mr. Shearhart, the need to maintain our baseball fields, the desire to start school later, the creation of middle school soccer teams, and one I found most interesting, the desire to have a sign language class taught in YCSD as a foreign language because one student was losing her hearing and her friend would like for there to be some type of sign language course so students could communicate with their friend easier. I thought that was very interesting. And finally, I just want to wish all of our students success with their SOLs starting now and final exams. Graduation is around the corner, and I want to extend my best wishes to our graduates and wish them the best of luck as they begin the next chapter of their lives, whether they go to college, start a career, or join the military.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to piggyback on something Mr. Mentor indicated, and that's our town hall meetings. I think we all had a fun time, and we all are amazed at the questions that the students come up with. Some of them are similar across all 4 schools, but one in particular at Bruton, Mr. Zaremba joined me, and there was a concern with Bruton participating in activities for Yorktown Day, or Veterans Day, the parades in Yorktown. He said he sits there, he sees every high school go by, but Bruton or even the middle schools. I said, you need to come to the in the northern part of the country, the county, where we are, because Bruton participates in Williamsburg's activities. So we left there that day saying both sides of the house will attempt to do better and get on everybody's schedule so that possibly we can get Bruton and Queens Lake to the lower part of the county for activities and vice versa. But the students are very, very involved in the Greater Williamsburg parades or activities going on there. Again, my congratulations to all of our award winners from the Employee Recognition Banquet, to the people who are with me for 25 years, to the Teachers of the Year, to the retirees. It was a wonderful evening. As I emailed Reggie Fox that night afterwards to say we had a great time, and kudos to the committee for doing a fantastic job. For me, I've seen people that I've been here with for a long time but don't see them on a regular basis. And it was just fun seeing people I hadn't seen in a while. The end of the month, Tab Elementary is having a career fair. So I get to go. It's a day I'm not working on it. It's fantastic, so I'm looking forward to it. Haven't been to a career fair in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. Again, congratulations to all of our students. Study hard. The end is in sight. To have a wonderful summer. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dr. George isn't here to give us the rundown of how many days are left of school, so I feel like I need to do that. So I'm looking at Dr. Guy. I'm thinking it's probably like 17. I'm looking at the.
It was
Yeah.
19 on Thursday.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm looking at our principals back, well, at least one of our principals back. How many days do we have? 17, 18?
Should be 17 if you're doing school days.
We've lost count. But one thing for sure, it's getting really busy. Students stay focused, families stay focused. We want our students to just continue moving forward and finishing up the year in a very positive light. The proms, obviously, everyone else has spoke about everything else we've done. So really, I don't have a whole lot to say, except that was one, it was in a piggyback on the retirees. I believe the number they used was 620 years of experience walked out that door that evening and retiring from YCSD. That's significant. I mean,
Big
that
time.
experience, 620 years of experience. But they have new chapters they're starting in their life, so it's exciting. With that said, we're going to move into financial matters. Dr. George would have had that this evening, so I'm going to take it for him. So if everybody would turn and look in that area of certificate of claims, we had $2,954,377.32 for the month of April. Some significant expenditures to mention as I get to the right screen. There is the Mary Immaculate Hospital, the athletic trainer services. You'll see that expenditure a little over $48,000. Fantastic service they provide to our athletics department and our students. You'll see the, I guess it's Hyman, it's the level literacy intervention books, benchmark assessments, and phonics. That was a little over $137,000 as we move that direction with that. If you look at the third quarter for the County of York for school resource officers, a little over $68,000. Moving right along under significant expenditures, you'll see a multiple listing of Sodexo expenditures, basically just part of the contract that we have with them. And then moving on to the second page, you'll see some New Horizons expenditures that are, one's a little over $37,000, one's a little over $68,000. These are for our special education students for February and March and the services they provide. And then we do have a few items for, well, before we go to that, the monthly financial report for our school division. We are 88% revenue received, about 73% encumbered, so we're right where we need to be with our budget, and everything looks to be in shape there. For food service, one thing that's significant, if you look at last year, where we were to this year, we are having some really good gains in the amount of revenue collected. So that's a positive for our food service expenditures. And then lastly is a resolution, which is 15-30, and this is all about Walla Mill Elementary School this evening. And everything that's been, Mr. Shearhart talked about, this is where we'll have a resolution to start that process with their HVAC controls, their fire alarm systems and security systems and access, and the construction. So I'm going to move a resolution 1530, the financial matters.
Second.
Any questions? All right, Mrs. Ford.
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve financial matters. Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Minter?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. Consent calendar this evening. Does anybody wish to remove anything from consent? All right, I'll move the consent calendar as listed. Need a second?
Second.
Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Kersky to approve the consent calendar. Mr. Minter?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you.
We should have our hands.
Yeah, we should have brought our hands. You're exactly right. action items, we have 3 this evening. Dr. Shandor, the first one.
The first one, Resolution 1525, resolution to continue the salaries of members of the school board of York County Schools.
All right.
Any questions?
Any motion to approve?
Yeah, I think it would, for transparency reasons and for full disclosure, I think we should state what the salaries are.
Oh, absolutely. It's in the resolution. We as school board members each receive a salary or a stipend of $9,000 per annual. The chair receives an additional $1,200 for the year, and the vice chair receives a $600 stipend additional to the $9,000 for the year. And it's been that, if I can recall, as long as I can remember, so I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure that we align exactly with what the board of supervisors.
We don't go any higher.
Yeah,
than the
we're,
board of
I think,
supervisors.
aligned with the board of supervisors on that cap, so.
And that's set by the state. It's by the number of students, it's the size of a division.
Yeah, I believe there's some
Yes,
legislative criteria there, too.
Right.
All right, need a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Thank you, Cindy. Mrs. Ford?
By Mr. Mentor to approve Resolution 1525. Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. Our next action item, Dr. Shandor.
A motion to approve the purchase of York County DARE program supplies at a total cost to the division not to exceed $3,200, and if the cost exceeds $3,200, the DARE program will reimburse the school division any amount above the $3,200.
I need a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Mr. Medford, since you're the DARE officer, can you talk a little bit about the program?
The program, basically, what this does is covers partial purchase of the T-shirts that are given out to all the 7th grade students that receive the middle school program, which is a 10-week program taught by an officer, and then through the health education classes, and then also the T-shirts that are given to the 4th grade students in the elementary 10-week program that's delivered by me.
And this has been reduced.
Oh, absolutely, significantly reduced. The actual T-shirt cost is in excess of $8,000 because the number of kids keep growing. So, all right, Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mr. Mentor to approve the motion to purchase the DARE program supplies. Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Abstain. Next action item, Dr. Shandor.
Can motion to approve the York County School Division's FY16 proposed budget pay plan.
All right, need a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Any comments?
It's done.
Well, this is,
Well, so far it's done.
this is a monumental movement. I mean, we, not only have we been able to create a new pay plan for our teachers, which was last year, this year we're maintaining the step. We are restoring a step to qualified employees that have been with us during the whole duration for the most part. This is significant. I mean, this is where now we can really compete with some of the, we can compete to keep and to retain and to find employees for YCST. So we should be very proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and our superintendent and staff and the recommendations and what they've been able to bring to us to be able to do what we're doing. So it's good news, and you're right. We're there. Still got a lot of work to do, though. Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mrs. Kersky and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the proposed pay plan. Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. All right, policy, we have nothing under discussion. We have 2 items under first reading. Dr. Shandor?
Yes. The first reading pertained to review of Section F facilities development. Was presented by Mr. Dolak at our last session. There's been no changes since
No.
last month.
All right. Anybody have any questions about that since last month? Okay. And then we have a second item under first reading. Dr. Shandor?
Yes, Dr. Jones is going to come forward, and she's going to, first reading of policy JEC, School Administration of the York County School Board Policy Manual. Dr. Jones.
Good evening. Mr. Medford, members of the board, Dr. Shandor. Before you is a copy of file JEC, School Admission from Policy J, with a schedule for the first reading. To ensure that this policy is current with the Code of Virginia as students register for next year, it was moved to a first reading. The Virginia General Assembly approved on March 26, 2015, that the Virginia Department of Education and each local school board can no longer require that a student's Social Security number be provided upon enrollment. The bill requires instead that each local school board assign a number to each student enrolled in a public elementary or secondary school. The bill has an effective date of August 1, 2015. As a result, JEC, School Admission of the York County School Board Policy Manual, has been updated and revised to reflect this action. The York County School Division currently assigns student identification numbers in Aspen upon registration. There is also a revision to paragraph G, the second bullet on page 4, as the hearing officer reports to the Director of School Administration and not to the superintendent. To avoid redundancy, the reference to policies was deleted on page 5, paragraph I, as physical examinations and immunizations requirements are contained in the named section of the Code of Virginia. Now, also on page 7, number 6, exchange students, it was added that all foreign exchange students will now be charged tuition. This change was made to be consistent for all foreign exchange students. Additionally, the number of foreign exchange students will be limited to no more than 5 per school to assure that participants from one program are not clustered together in one school and will allow the participants to be fully immersed in the culture. And lastly, the remaining revisions are editorial in nature. The changes were recommended by staff and the Assistant County Attorney. This document will come back for a second reading next month. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions right now.
Thank you.
Any questions? I may have some
You have some
clarification.
reading to do.
Yeah, I got some reading to do on that one, but
I guess the biggest question, and probably people at home watching may ask this, how do you define a foreign exchange student and an illegal alien? I mean, legally, there are different issues there, and I didn't know how this pertained to both groups.
We look at the visa type, the J1 or F1 visas.
And would the state have criteria
They have
that
certain
identifies
criteria,
that too, that we
yes.
go by?
Yes. The J1 are the exchange visitor programs. They are assigned to a certain program. And then the F1s, the purpose is just fully to come to be educated in the United States.
I guess I'll turn to our legal counsel. Of course, this is first reading, we're reviewing. We may have some communication with you through the superintendent on some questions I think that might come up. But in the world of what we should be doing and what we have been doing and what we need to be doing, do you have any input that we can take away?
Well, this is a very structured program. The Department of Homeland Security definitely monitors everything. The visas are monitored, and the school division really has very little leeway when it comes to visas, approval, and what happens. So we follow the rules that the Department of Homeland Security provides for us, and it goes through our attendance officer, Kim Newsom, and everything is done just according to what they tell us can be done. The rules about how many students per school, that's all prescribed to us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Our next item is a second reading on a policy which is up for approval this evening. Dr. Shandor, has there been any changes to the second reading of the quadrennial review of Section E, Support Services of the York County School Board Policy Manual?
There's been no changes since the last meeting.
All right, I need a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Need a second?
Second.
All right, any questions? This has been through its 3 readings. This is the third. Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mr. Mentor to approve the second reading of Section E. Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Ms. Kersky?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Kersky? And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. Report of the superintendent, Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. I just have a few items this evening. The first item is I want to recognize our staff members and team who developed our employee recognition banquet, which was held last Thursday. I know there was a lot of reference to it up on the panel this evening from the board. A lot of work went into that event, and when we've had conversations about what type of event we have for our staff members. Our staff members are retirees, our 25-year veterans to the school division, our teachers of the year, and our other award winners, and the board and this whole school division deserve an event like that. To have kids perform for us during that event, to make it a special event, I think was a real credit to our team, Ms. Goff, Regina Wilson and others on the team, Sarah Brown and Jason Short. And there's many other members of the team who really contributed to that. So having students from 4 high schools perform, and we had 2 middle schoolers perform that were just amazing performance to honor our retirees. It was a wonderful event, so kudos to everyone involved. Second, I attended the PTA award celebration with Mr. Medford, Ms. Kersky, and Mr. Minter. I believe it was a week or 2 ago. Fantastic event, and I can tell you we are so fortunate to have parent leaders such as Laurel Geralt and the other PTA board members who continually support the schools as well as recruit other parents to come and become a part of PTA. The other thing I want to mention from that event, Dr. Susan Hutton, who was here earlier, was named PTA Principal of the Year from Yorktown Middle School. So we're really proud of Dr. Hutton and all of her accomplishments. Just 2 more quick items. The York-Poquoson Relay for Life is on June 5th. I'll be participating in that event. I look forward to the Relay for Life event every year. And last but not least, I can't tell you how proud I am of all of our leaders, all of our teachers, all of our parents, and all of our community members in preparing our kids for all the assessments and everything that they're going to go through over the next few weeks. Because of the dedication of so many groups, our kids are prepared, and looking forward to getting those results back later on and celebrating those results. So that's it for the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you. Does anybody wish to address the board this evening? With that, anyone else? Letter for the board? Mr. Minter?
I was just when I was looking at the Virginia Educational Daily News and saw the article on where so many school divisions have been plagued with computer problems, the SOL test. Have we run into any of that? Haven't seen any emails or glitches?
We've had Dr. Guy, do you want to speak to that real quick? We did have an issue last week. So real briefly, she can give you just a quick update.
Yes, the issues that were across the state were Pearson issues. So all school divisions across the state had those issues.
Oh, okay.
We had 2 days last week where testing was interrupted for a period of time.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, with that, everyone have a great evening, and good night. We're adjourned.